Sim Update 5 is upon us. Do we dare do a full flight in our world tour? Of course we do. Wish us luck. Let's do this. Hey guys, Clumsy here. Welcome back to Microsoft Flight Simulator. Welcome back to our world tour. Yes, as you guys might have heard, Sim Update 5 is live. I've made a video about it, streamed it, and there's the good, the bad, and the ugly, right? But still, the show must go on. I have been waiting and I have been looking forward to continuing our world tour, so here we are. We are starting off in Chumphon right now, in Thailand, and today we'll be making our way to Bangkok. So we might have a little bit of city tour along the way. So that's how it looks right there. If you go for the world map, there it is. Chumphon is somewhere in the southwest. We'll make our way northeast rather, and we'll be crossing through the city center of Bangkok. Now in Bangkok, there are two main airports. The one that I'm more familiar with is Suvarnabhumi over here, International. And there's this second one. This is where we're going to. This is called the, how do you call it? Don Muang International. I think I've been here also in some flights. Some flights go here, but I think it's the smaller of the two. Correct me there if I'm wrong. But yeah, I would have preferred the smaller just to make it a bit more fitting for our small little plane, the little plane that could. Anyway, all right, so expect, yes, in this video we will be doing the usual stuff. Yeah, start to end of the flight, from the pre-checks to the run-up, and I'll be sharing some Sim Update 5 specific items on the arrow because I discovered some stuff, like, you know how I mentioned initially that the windows are broken? Apparently it's not, it's just harder to click. If you go from the top here, your mouse from the top, and then go to the bottom like this, eventually it will be a mouse click and voila, the button actually works. So yes, we have an open window again. Oh my goodness, all the problems are solved. Not really, but it's a small win and I'll take it. Alright, anyway, let's get started. Parking brake is set, gear selector is down, avionics are off, mixture is lean, magnetos, I have my switch here, a physical switch that is synchronized with the key turning there, so that is off. So now let's turn on the batteries. Let's check our fuel. Now let's be a bit more conservative here because I'm going to try something different. Oftentimes I've been trying to set it up with the economy mode for long hauls, for long distance flying, but today I think it's more practical if we're doing these short legs to actually go for power, best power instead of best economy. So I'll load myself up with more fuel just to be on the safer side because I don't know how that will consume stuff yet. Fuel quantity is okay, annunciator panel, all of them are lighting up. Good, so we can turn that off. Flight controls, they are free, rudder, but are they correct? Well, we'll see. Left and right, right and left. Okay, looking good. Flaps. That looks good there on that side, and on the other one. Looks good as well. Also the stabilizer at the back. Looking good. Alright, perfect. Free and correct. Good. Flaps are down, yes. And the elevator trim, this one I don't think resets anymore, which is great. It is starting where you leave it in your previous flight if you have state saving on. So that is in the neutral position. Great. Now exterior check. I have done that a while ago already, so no problems there. I do want to point out something though. Look at the oil quantity, guys. We are getting closer and closer. The requirement here is we should have at least 6 quarts of oil. So when we get closer to 6 quarts, I'll have to refill that so we won't encounter difficulties later on. But that's great, right? shows you the wear and tear, shows you the oil being used up as we make our way around the world. Alright, everything is closed except for the window. That should be okay. Circuit breakers are all off, looking good. Alternate air is off. Prop RPM lever, okay, go for max RPM. Full tank, left tank is okay. They're even Steven right now. Fuel selector, yes, that's the one I mentioned. Okay, and then we can go and start the engine. Alright. 1/2 inch on the throttle. I'm going to ignore some of this stuff. This is not 100% accurate, this checklist. But just trust me on this, okay? So battery is on. Beacons on. Looking good. Nav lights, that's over on this side. That's the same thing as this panel. So that triggers the battery switch as well. The nav lights rather. Looking good. Alright, so let's go ahead and prime the engine. Hold this. You can hear it. Now push the mixture. Fuel pressure rising. Fuel flow rising. And that's it. That's the engine primed and we should be good to go. Alright. So let's shout outside now that our window is open. Clear prop. Is it working? It is working. And voila. And this time, I won't forget turning on the alternator. Now we have to pull back on the throttle. Make sure that's only going up to 1500. We have oil pressure. We have oil pressure right there. Oil temperature, fuel pressure. Everything looks good. Except that the RPM is running away from me. Let's pull back on the throttle a bit more. That sounds amazing. That's a bit too loud though, so let's close it. Oh yeah, so the closing is pretty tricky as well. You have to come from the top and then move your way down like this. I read this somewhere in the forums. The forums is an amazing place to hang out, guys. I've been learning a lot from them. Right, good. Alright, let's see. Landing lights, let's turn it on before we forget. Avionics and comms, let's turn that on. We do have pilot to ATC, so that's great. And we will have Joanna helping us with the communications, okay? Just to remove all of that hassle with the, what was that we had before? Remember we had the problems where ATC wasn't recognizing what I was saying and I had to have Joanna help me out. So from the get-go, let's do that just so we will avoid all the pain that brings as I try to fumble around. Okay, but 1 second and just set it up. Okay, I think that's working. And let me enable that. Okay, looking good. Sorry guys, I'm just doing some things in the other screen to set a pilot to ATC, because as great as an app it is, it's not the best looker. So I'm trying to save you the trouble to so that you don't need to concern yourself with how it looks, just how it reacts, how it behaves. Okay, all right. So our, let me see, our VORs for today, we will be passing by Hua Hin. I think it's a famous airport. I remember you guys told me there is actually a custom airport for that, but I'm trying to stay away from all the mods at the moment just to keep it safe. So 113.3, and in Bangkok later on will be 117.7. These are all VORs. Okay, good. And we'll be departing via runway 24. My heading is already there. We'll be on what is this, 018 course towards Hua Hin VOR. So I already set the needle there, and as soon as we pick up the VOR, then that should come alive. Alright, so avionics is on. Radios are not yet set. You know what, let's go ahead and tune into ATIS 128.45. Let's hope that this is working. 128.45, and if it is, then we should hear a voice from ATIS.
Chumphon information line.
Nice.
50 Zulu winds are 260 at 9 knots. Visibility 6 miles. 2000 broken. Temperature 33, dew point 26. Current QNH is 1008. Arriving and departing runway 24. Chumphon information line.
Nice.
50 Zulu winds are 260 at 9 knots. Visibility 6 miles. 2000 broken. Temperature 33, dew point 26. Current QNH is 1008. Arriving Arriving and departing
1008.
runway 24.
Alright, that's
Chumphon
perfect.
information Lima.
So let's now go
50
and
Zulu
set
winds
this
are
to
260
tower,
at
which
9 knots.
is
Visibility 6 miles.
122.15. Okay, where we will be getting our clearance from. Looks good. Alright, so I've noted those down. 1008. We already have that set here. Was checking this a while ago. This one here, not yet, not that one here. So 1008 would be that one. Yes, perfect. Okay, good. Almost at sea level, which fits with the elevation of this airport. Good. Alright, Jawana, your help. Let's go and get our clearance, please. Alright, but I'll still be noting it down.
Aero India Charlie Lima ready to copy IFR clearance.
Okay.
Aero India Charlie Lima is cleared to Victor Tango Bravo Delta as filed.
That's a
Expect
Bangkok
departure runway 24.
airport.
Climb
24.
and maintain 4,000 feet. Expect higher clearances 2 minutes after departure. Squawk 4344.
344.
Aero India
Okay.
Charlie Lima is cleared to Victor Tango Bravo Delta as filed. Climb and maintain 4,000 feet. Expect higher clearances 2 minutes after departure. Squawk 4344.
Nice.
Aero India Charlie Lima read back correct. QNH is 1008. Let us know when you're ready to taxi.
Good. Now it's not doing the say it thing.
QNH is 1008 Aero India Charlie Lima.
There you go. So we'll be staying at the same frequency, and we will be 1 second taxiing now, right? Let's just go through it. So let's see, radios are set, transponder we've set that, altimeter setting we've checked that as well, heading is set, taxi area is clear. So now we can release the parking brake. That's one more watch out, guys. If you're releasing the parking brake on the arrow, make sure you use the mouse. If you assigned it to a key, it's not working at the moment. Brakes, we'll test that when we are going to be moving off, and then we'll check our instruments if they're working. Turning coordinator, the compass, everything else looks good. Alright, let's stop here and then let's go ahead and ask if we can taxi already. You know what, before we do that, let's do the run up. Runway 24 is here, so let's face this way, that the winds are this way, facing the wind. Let's go hit the parking brake. Let's go to run up, start it up. Let me start the timer as well, just so every 15 minutes we can go ahead and switch tanks. Alright, so parking brake is set, mixture is rich, prop RPM lever is maxed out. We'll set it to 2000 RPM. Easy, easy. Yeah, just that climbs quickly enough. Alright, 2000. There we go. So now let's check the magnetos. Moving only to the left. That is a very healthy drop. Around 100 RPM. I realize I'm not exactly at 2000 there, but that's okay. Check the right one this time. Looking good, and switch between the left and right. Make sure there is no significant drop. Looking good. Alright, healthy magnetos. I like it. Stick all of that in. Vacuum gauge is 4.9. That's as expected. Oil pressure in the green. Oil temperature pretty high, but that makes sense as we have some high up RPMs here. Fuel pressure is good as well. A meter. Okay, we have some load. That means our alternator is working. That's great. Annunciators, all of them are lighting up. Good. Let's check our propeller. And it's more important. It's important more than ever to do all of these checks, because we just came from Sim Update 5, which, as you may know, broke a lot of stuff. This plane isn't even fully compatible with Sim Update 5 yet, so we want to make sure that all the critical elements for flight are working as we expect. Looks good. Alternate air is off. I haven't really checked. I have to check first. Okay, good. Aux boost pump is off. Fuel pressure is, yes, in the green. Pretty high. Now let's go and check the engine idle. Let's see, come on. 600 to 650. Normally it idles at 700. Alright, that's good enough. 1,200 and we should be good for taxi. Alright, Joanna. Take us there. Oh, my key isn't working. Alright. Come on.
Aero India Charlie Lima ready to
There
taxi.
we are.
Aero India Charlie Lima taxi to runway 24 via taxiways Alpha. Hold short runway 06.
Taxi to runway 24 via taxiways Alpha. Hold short runway 06 Aero India Charlie Lima.
Looking good. One sec, guys. Give me a second. Okay, welcome back. Sorry about that. I'm struggling a bit with Pilot to ATC recognizing the commands. For now, we'll have to live with
Aero India
mouse
Charlie
clicks.
Lima ready to taxi.
Wouldn't recognize my hotkeys.
Aero India Charlie Lima taxi to runway 24 via taxiways Alpha. Hold short runway 06.
Taxi to runway 24 via taxiways Alpha. Hold short runway 06 Aero India Charlie Lima.
Good. Alright. So this should be straight ahead here, and I believe we'll need to do a back taxi towards runway 24. Wow, weather is pretty bad, huh? As always. Thunderstorms all throughout. So we'll be cruising at 5,000 feet today, but we've been cleared initially only to 4,000. That's okay. Make it work. There's the runway. Let's go ahead now and stop here.
Aero India Charlie Lima advise when ready for departure.
Oh, there you
Wilco
go.
Aero India Charlie Lima.
They actually
Tower
detected
Aero India Charlie Lima
that
ready
we
for
are
departure
here at the
runway
hold short
24.
line.
Aero India Charlie Lima backtrack runway 24.
Nice.
Winds are 260 at 9 knots cleared for takeoff. Runway 24 maintain runway heading until above 1,000 feet, then turn right heading 048 to intercept course.
048.
Backtrack to runway 24 then cleared for takeoff. 24 maintain runway heading until above 1,000 feet then right to 048 Aero India Charlie Lima.
Okay, makes sense. 048. Runway is clear on the left and right. So what it's asking us to do is to go and continue climbing until 1,000 feet, and then we will be turning right towards the heading that they gave us, which will give us a perfect intercept towards the course that we set, which is 018 degrees. If that didn't make any sense, no worries. I will try and walk you through as we go through it in the air. Landing lights are on, boost pump is in low, fuel selector is in the fullest tank, engine gauges, doors are good, mixture, RPM, flaps are not set for this takeoff, trims are in the middle, cabin door is closed and latched, and we are ready for takeoff. Alright, perfect. And the windsock is aligned, agreeing with our choice of runway. Runway 24, we should get some pretty nice headwinds to help with the takeoff. That should lessen our takeoff roll, which is basically the amount of ground that we are consuming before we gather up enough speed to perform the takeoff, to lift off the ground. Alright, let's go and turn around from here. Alright, off we go. Manifold pressure stable, pushing it to 40 inches, and from there keeping my hand on the throttle. Airspeed's alive, 70 knots, there it is. Start pulling back on the yoke ever so gently. Oh, that's beautiful. Thanks to that headwind, our takeoff roll was super short. Not racing the gears yet. Still have some runway below us. So we are going to keep this heading 240 until 1,000 feet. Tap the brakes, gear up. Going to pitch for 100 knots. 104. That looks good. Let's pull back on the throttle here, 33 inches. Pull back on the RPM just a tad to 450 RPM more or less. Looking good. Let's keep that heading. 240. We are reaching 1,000 feet. At 1,000 feet, there are a lot of things that will happen. First and foremost, we will start turning right as instructed by ATC. So I'm turning right here, only up to the standard rate of turn there, so that my wings are lined up with that line there. That's the standard rate of turn, and that will vary depending on how fast you're going. So that gives you a good indication that you are doing a standard turn and not banking too much or too little. Right, looking good. And also, while we're turning like this, 1,000 feet, fuel pump can go off, landing lights can go off, and also this automatic gear extension, we can turn it on. There you go. Whoa, that was super bright. I think that was just in front of us, huh? That lightning. Oh my goodness. Alright, 048 on
Charlie
landing.
Lima, contact Yangon Center on 133.2. Have a good one. 133.2.
Center on 133.2, Aero India Charlie Lima.
I think Joanna will also take care of the switching the frequencies. There it is.
Center Aero India Charlie Lima climbing to 4,000 feet. Aero India Charlie Lima, good afternoon. Radar contact.
Good. Now I would have preferred that we tune the radios on our own, but sorry about that guys. I'm getting a few bugs in Pilot to ATC. It's not related to Sim Update 5, but Pilot ATC just has some quirks, and sometimes it's a bit stubborn, so right now we'll leave it as it is, okay? Now the problem here is I still don't have visibility of the VOR. I still haven't captured, I'm still not tracking it. So what we can do is just do this, and if ATC complains, then they complain. What we could actually do was track Chumphon first, right? 110. Maybe we can do that. There it is, at least that one we have something. Right, let's follow that, that might work. And then, because that's the VOR on this airport where we came from, so at least we have an actual guide that we are following a specific radial. And then Hua Hin 113.3, let's go and put that here. Right, so. Okay. Is that good enough? Let's go ahead and turn more a bit to the right. It is pretty windy right now, guys, as you can see in the cockpit. I think we have some 20 knot winds here, more or less. You should see that more in a bit. So how does the graphics look for you? Did it change anything on your end? I think it's looking pretty good, right? You still have those pop-ins that I'm not very fond of, but I'm getting more and more used to them. I can live with it now. Just
Aero India Charlie Lima, climb and maintain 4,000 feet.
4,000,
Climb
yeah.
and maintain 4,000 feet. Aero India Charlie Lima.
I hope we get to fix that
Aero
eventually.
India Charlie Lima, climb and maintain 5,000 feet. Climb and
5,000.
maintain 5,000 feet. Aero India Charlie Lima.
Alright, we've been
Aero
cleared
India
to
Charlie
our cruising
Lima,
altitude.
maintain 5,000 feet.
Okay, I'm not sure. Seems like it's having a fit right now, but 5,000. I got it, 5,000. No worries. Keep it there. Looking good. Still hand flying it. 17 minutes. Actually a bit past here. Yeah, let's switch tanks. Good. Because the left tank is a bit more depleted than the right one. So that's looking okay. No sputtering, no coughing, everything looking good. Alright, turn off the fuel boost pump. And let's keep on climbing. One of the bigger things also that you might have noticed if you started flying the Arrow recently is that the trim, actually not only the arrow, all the planes, the elevator trim, one tap gives you a huge up or down. So it's like they increased the effectiveness of the trim, which is something I kind of like sometimes, and sometimes I don't. I'm still not fully decided on it. Also, Hua Hin just came alive, 113.3, so let's go ahead and tune that in so we get a more accurate destination. There it is. It's more or less the same, so it's fine. So we're following that course towards the Hua Hin airport. Continue climbing through here, just keeping it at 104 knots indicated. Not too bad, right? The graphics is not too bad. They changed something with the gamma, with the brightness, so it looks a bit more contrasty. The clouds look a bit sharper. Everything looks a bit more painful to the eyes in a way. But in some ways, that's actually quite realistic, right? Middle of the day, go out, stare at the clouds. Yes, it will be pretty blinding in a way. So it's not that far off. Alright, and here we are, 5,000 feet. Now what's going to be different is I will be instead pushing the throttle towards 35 inches and then pulling back the RPM to 2300. That's going to be the cruise setting for a 75% power. So that's going to be like not an endurance setting. So this is not meant for flying to far distances. This is more for getting to where you want to go at the fastest possible way. So our true airspeed should be much faster with this kind of setup. We'll see if that really works. But yes, this is why I'm liking the trim, because before the trim was very minuscule. It barely got what I wanted. So I had to press it too much, and then sometimes it would go in excess. This time the trim is much more responsive, so I just tap it from time to time and adjust accordingly. Starting to get used to it. Kinda like it. Not bad. Although I know that there are some people who are not fans of it. Alright, 5,000 feet, that's looking good. Now what I'll do is I'll lean the mixture. So I'm pulling back on the mixture, looking at the EGT needle. EGT, looking for that peak EGT. But this time, because we're looking for best power, we're not staying there at peak EGT. We're actually going 100 degrees rich. So that's 25, 50, 75, 100 degrees rich around that point. What that means simply is when you look for the peak and you found it, 100 degrees rich means pushing forward on the mixture until you are 100 degrees from that peak that you found. Lean of peak, so that's rich of peak. That's what they call rich of peak, if you've heard of that before. Now on the other end, the lean of peak involves still, as a first step, finding that peak, and then instead of pushing the mixture, you are pulling the mixture, and then going how many degrees away from that peak. That's pretty cool. And there are different thoughts about that, different beliefs. Some people prefer lean of peak, some people prefer rich of peak. But in terms of the manual, of what it says, the Lycoming, the engine manual, it says 100 degrees rich of peak for a power setting and actual peak EGT for the economical setting. So if you look at our fuel burn here, guys, we are at, how many is this? Around 14 gallons per hour. If you compare that with previous flights where we were in economy, in the best setting for long range flights, we were only consuming 10 gallons before. So definitely a lot more consumption now. But that kind of evens out in a way, because look at our airspeed. We are almost at the end of the white range there. Getting pretty close to the yellow range, right? But yes, so what we can do is simply... Second, let me here. Just aligning my heading. So what we can do is look outside. Temperature is around 20 degrees. And we are at 5,000 feet pressure altitude. So what we'll do is move this knob to 5,000. 5,000 is that black thick vertical bar there. Let me zoom in as close as possible. 5,000, that bar. And we'll put that under 20 degrees. So this is 0, this is 10, this is 20. Positive 20. So let's put that there, right? Somewhere there. So we should be around 155 crew airspeed. But our ground speed is 157. So almost no tailwind. But as you can see with how much we're crabbing here, guys. So we are more or less headed that way, right? Or tracking that way. But we are facing or heading this way. We are crabbing to the left, basically. And we can prove that by going to the outside view. So bear with me a little. It will get a bit noisy. Here it is. Look at the way the plane is moving. So it's somehow moving. If I go straight for this, the back view, right? And it's somehow going that way. Not exactly the same way that the plane is facing. Because the winds are coming from here, from the west blowing to the east. Quite nice. So all those details are still set. Still good. And it's working. Nice. Alright. Loving the clouds. Some people are saying that the clouds have degraded. I think they have a bit. It's not as fluffy. It's not as how do you say, as textured. It is a bit more flat, but my goodness, it still looks amazing, doesn't it? I don't know. That one I don't have really big complaints about. The gamma, the too bright thing, yeah, I guess that's a thing, but it is more on the realistic side, so I don't have big complaints about that either. Plus, they make for amazing photos, so I don't really have big complaints on that. But yeah, the pop-ins, actually the pop-ins I'm starting to get used to as well. Yeah, you can see. Let me show you in case you didn't watch my previous video. One sec, let me turn to the right. And if I look immediately to the left, did you notice? The trees changing. Very subtle, very subtle. So I'm actually starting to get used to them as well. They were definitely better last update, Sim Update 4. Because we didn't have that problem before, but that's one of the minor things. Not really minor, but not a deal breaker for me. Those pop-ins are... I'm getting the hang of it, let's put it that way. I didn't like them before, but now I'm getting the hang of it. What I don't like is, in addition to those pop-ins, because they are basically being re-rendered, right? Every time you look there, that means more CPU load. So you guys might have noticed if you monitor your temperatures or CPU utilization, whenever you move the camera like that, you will get a sudden spike in CPU utilization and temperature, because that's the system trying to load as fast as possible. So it's putting a lot of load on the CPU, and it's doing that every single time. The downside there is at some point, depending on how much there is to load, that will actually cause stutters. So if you look at my FPS right now, it should be at 60 here. Yeah, it should be at 60. There you go. That looks great, right? If I suddenly look to the left, oh, that's actually not bad, because there are fewer objects here. If I look to the right and the left, oh yeah, that's not too bad. Like around 5-7 FPS jumping, and then going back to 60. So that like drop in FPS is because of the loading. And depending on how much there is to load, like if you're in the middle of the city and you do that, it can go down to like 30 FPS from 60. So you will definitely feel those stutters happening. But yes, thankfully it doesn't seem like it's a problem everywhere. Like in here it looks great. So I think I can live with it.
Charlie Lima contact Bangkok Center on 120.5. Enjoy your afternoon.
There we go, going to center.
120.5 Aero India Charlie Lima.
120.5. Thank you, Joanna.
Charlie Lima descending to 5,000 feet.
Aero India Charlie Lima, good afternoon. Radar contact.
Alright, let's go ahead and turn on the autopilot here. I think I've had enough fun hand flying. Good. So now the plane is going to follow that course. And we will know once and for all how much crabbing we have. Not too much apparently. That's looking good. But yes. So I'll keep this on. It's actually quite a longer trip. I didn't show you the how far it is away. Let's just trim it properly here. I didn't show you how far the trip is, but it's a lot farther than our usual ones. It's how long is it? Let me see. 121 plus 84, almost 200 miles today. That's why going through this power setting, even if it costs more fuel, I think it will be worth it. Now this is one of the problems, before I let you go guys, this is one of the problems for trim. When you want to fly straight in level, right? And you go like trim, just press it once, up. Look at how much that's jumping. So you're not going to go anywhere in the middle because of it. Even if I push on this manually and I let go of the yoke, it will go up again. And then if I trim it down, if I trim the nose down, then it will become too much down like that. So how do you fly level in that case? Right? That might be a dilemma. Well, one thing we can do is balance that out. So I can trim up, right? I can trim up like this, and it will get a bit too much, right? Yeah, that's too much. So what I can do is, instead of pushing forward or trimming, what I can actually do is pull back on the throttle. Because remember, if you pull back on the throttle, you will start descending. So if you pull back just a little, you will negate that climb. So it's always a combination of trim and power setting. Just like when landing, right? Trimming and throttle setting gets you where you want to be. And now the trim might be a bit too much sometimes, but the throttle you can always fine tune. So that's how we can find the perfect balance. And I think we are getting there now. Let's see. Is that looking good? Yeah, that's looking good. A few more fine tunings, but that should be okay. All in all, that should be okay, right? Anyway, so I'll keep at this. Amazing views. I'll bring you guys back when we're close to Hua Hin, the first half of the trip, which is in 82 miles. First, let's go outside and see the beautiful views here. Second, look at how much we're crabbing now. Beautiful beach there. I wonder if this is a tourist destination. Haven't explored here before. Yeah, you can see those slight stutters as you move the camera. Yeah, going to 49, go back to 60. It's not that smooth when you move the camera, so I really hope that they change that, because right now I'm only using less than 16 gigs of RAM. I have 32. The sim doesn't know how to use up much more anymore. It's like they capped it. Also, my GPU memory is not reaching its maximum, so I do have some resources, but the sim is not using it anymore because it's capped at Xbox specs. So if you have specs that are better than the Xbox Series X, then you will have a bit of bottleneck there. You won't be able to max out your system. That's one of the main gripes for people with high-end rigs right now. Anyway, alright, see you guys in a bit. Catch you soon. Man, that is looking great, isn't it? Say what you want about the clouds. Yeah. Might have degraded a bit. I don't know. Maybe. But still looks amazing. I can live with that. I can live with that picture. Anyway, status update. We are 33 miles away from Hua Hin. We'll be flying over that airport where the VOR is situated. I brought you guys back in because it was getting pretty hairy a while ago. but now it's calmed down again. Okay, so maybe a false alarm. We were having some updrafts and downdrafts on mountains, I think. We were flying over some mountains a few seconds ago, and my goodness, it seems like they've toned that up a bit. 1,000 feet per minute, downdrafts and whatnot. It's getting scary, but thankfully it's gone now. Okay, I think it's back in 50 minutes on the timer. Continuing our cruise here, and everything just looking scenic as ever. And yes, the pop-in's not as obvious anymore. Stutter's not as significant either. Cool. Maybe that was just exacerbated with some sim update or server problems, maybe. The lower quality textures, the slower rendering of the trees. I don't know if the server has anything to do with that. Maybe in some cases, yes. Maybe now the servers are lightening up the load, so maybe we are getting more bandwidth in, and everything is turning out much better in the process. Let's have a look outside again. Not a bad view, right? Not bad at all. Let's see, that's beautiful actually. And looks like the weather is also turning for the better. We are leaving behind the cloud layers back there. Now, getting fluffier, but fewer as well. So no complaints there. Awesome. Alright. Catch you guys in a bit. I'm going to enjoy the scenery. We'll see. You know how I mentioned that the weather is getting better? I might have misread that. IMC here now. Oh my goodness, let's get up the panel lighting. Alright. Hopefully this is a temporary thing, because it does say that it should be VFR here in Hua Hin, and we are getting close. 7 miles away from the airport. 1 hour as well, perfect timing. We're currently using the right tanks. That makes sense, right tank is more used up, so let's switch. Boost pump to low, switch to the left tank. Looking good, looking stable, sounding stable. Alright, turn off the boost pump. Yes, not the best for sightseeing at the moment, but let's see. Let's go look outside. It does sound strange, no? Like, it kind of sounds... The volume of the engine sounds weaker from the outside versus the inside at the moment. Maybe I'll have to tweak the engine volume. I'm not sure if you guys are seeing it as too loud or hearing it as too loud, rather. Yeah, not the best weather. Sorry about this, guys, but anyway, what we can do in the meantime is, well, we can go to TripAdvisor and see. So I did a search for Hua Hin, and I'll show you. Pretty cool. Let's see, here it is. That's the one. Lock that in. So what can you do in Hua Hin? Well, you can see elephants, looks like. And I think it's predominantly filled with beautiful beaches, temples, resorts, some forests maybe with waterfalls in there, some hiking possibilities, even a golf course. But yeah, I think predominantly beaches and more beaches. Wow, that looks amazing. Wow. Wow, okay, well, I want to go here sometime. Maybe when things normalize, we will see. Alright, how are we doing in terms of altitude? 5,000 feet. Let's stay close, otherwise ATC will start scolding us. Okay. Okay. 2.6 miles away before we enter the cone of confusion. That is the... when we're right on top of the VOR. Oh, there it is. There's the airport. Oh, that is amazing. That is perfect timing. The clouds thinned out just in time. There's Hua Hin Airport. That's default, guys. No mods whatsoever. We even have a bit of water masking in here, looks like. A little bit, right? Very nice color, watercolor. Okay, yeah, you get me. So before we enter the cone of confusion, let's go back to heading mode, because this one you should see some barber poles start coming up as we fly over the VOR. Look at this. So right now it's still tracking 0.9 miles. That will go blank. There you go. Cone of confusion because we're right on top of the VOR. Right? Give it a few seconds as we clear it. There you go. Now it's back and now it's running the opposite way. We are going away from it. There we go. Perfect. Okay. So we do have Bangkok VOR here alive already. So 117.7. There it is. And we're going to be on a 027 course towards that VOR. So 027 should be, I think, let's go for 30. And let's go for 1, 2, 3. Is that close enough? 027? Let's try that again. Where's my mouse? Oi. Okay, there it is. No, it's my mouse is gone. Okay. 0, 3, 0, 9, 8, 7. Okay, good. Let's go ahead and follow that. Go to Omni mode for VORs. And that's perfect, right? As we went over the airport, it just showed you the thinning of the clouds, perfect timing. And then it's starting to cloud up again. It was just bragging a bit. And all those beaches that we were seeing, I guess those are the ones, right? Off the coast. We are on the eastern coast of Thailand here. There it is. There it is. Oh my goodness. Beautiful. So yeah, despite all the Sim Update 5 complaints, and I'm part of those who are complaining, still can't deny it's still a beautiful sim. And we are getting those performance benefits. It's a work in progress, guys, but looking good. Looking good. Alright, so in the meantime, as we get closer to Bangkok, 80 miles away, I wanted to give you a primer. Well, Thai food is pretty popular worldwide, right? Thai food. But I wanted to share with you some of the favorites, because Thai food is my favorite cuisine, bar none. And I wanted to focus a bit more on this, so let's do that here. Let's see, 21 best dishes to eat in Thailand. I just googled this by Iona. Kway Tiao, is that how you read it? Maybe? Beef noodle soup, basically. This is available like in the side streets, small stalls and whatnot. And those are the best tasting ones, not the ones in the restaurants. Those are more commercialized. The most authentic tastes are the ones right on the side of the road, where you have like a language barrier with the seller. And you have to do sign language. Tom Yum Goong. Oh yes, Tom Yum. Amazing stuff. Soup, spicy. I can't quite describe it. Sour and spicy. Tom Kha Gai. Some what's it in English? It's kind of Tom Yum, but it has that it's not like milky substance. We call it gata in Filipino. Something like that. Coconut milk maybe. Something like that maybe. That's maybe as close as it gets. Yeah, coconut milk. There you go. Coconut milk right there. Yes. Som tam is papaya salad. What is this? Yam platok pho. Fried catfish. Oh yes, this is very nice as well. Fried catfish with green mango salad. Too bad there's no picture. Yam talai. Spicy seafood salad. That's good. Oh yeah, larb mo. That's the minced chicken. That's like a salad. This is one of my favorites. Pad Putong. I'm not familiar with that. Pad Thai though. I'm sure you guys are familiar with it. Pad Thai. Best noodles ever. What else? Khao pad is fried rice. It's like bagoong fried rice. Fried basil. Oh, so good. I'm getting hungry. And of course, the green curry. It's originating in central Thailand, so it might be perfect here in Bangkok as we arrive. So I'm preparing for the things that we are eating once we arrive at the city. Because of course, as we get to the city, then we will be immersed in all that food. There's Bangkok. What can we do? Well, we can eat. Or we can also go to markets, Chatuchak, Siam, Paragon. It's the mall. Or we can go some Thai kickboxing, yeah, Muay Thai. Some temples. I think we actually have a temple in the sim. We'll try and spot it later. We should be flying over it, the Wat Pho. You can actually see it if you go in the world map view. This one, yeah, the Wat Pho. Wat Phra Chumphon. I think it's called the Wat Pho as well. I think so. One of the oldest and largest temples in Bangkok features the famous reclining Buddha, which is the largest in Thailand, measuring more than 150 feet in length. Ah, yes, I know this. I think we went here before. Probably, yes. You have to see it from outside. This one, I think. Okay, so keep your eyes peeled for this kind of structure, guys, okay? It should be right by the river when we get there. Okay, but yes, I'm getting excited. Alright, cool. Alright, so let's leave that there and I will bring you guys back when we are closer. There's still a bit of ways to go because we are still 69 miles away from it. Should be arriving in 26 minutes, 156 knots ground speed. Yes, so we have a bit of tailwind, just a tad, right? And we are crabbing to the left just a little bit, much less than before. Alright, looking good. Okay, catch you guys in a bit. Whew, getting hungry. Land ho! There is Bangkok right in front of us. Oh, I'm getting excited. There it is. Okay, before we get to the meaty parts, before we start the city tour, and I know the video is getting long, but sorry guys, endure me for a bit more, okay? We'll have to brief the approach. 1 second. Let's keep my altitude on track here on the right. Okay, let's see. So this is the approach that we'll be following, the VOR runway 21 right approach. So the airport itself looks like this. Donmyang International. Don't ask me to pronounce that again. 21 right is where we're landing because the other one, 21 left, this runway looks like it's a military runway. Yeah, does it make sense? Military side it says. So it looks like 21 right is the one for us. And it's a pretty long runway. My goodness, 12,000 feet. We don't really need that much, but okay. So we can probably exit at... Can we exit at Echo? Maybe that's going to be too early. So land at runway 21 and we'll be exiting latest at Mike. Taxiway Mike here. High speed taxiway. Okay. But the approach itself, I chose this one because this one has a starting point at the Bangkok VOR, which is right on top of the airport. So we will be overflying the airport. That should be some nice scenery. And then we'll be backtracking our way to Ronald, that's 17 miles away from the VOR. And then we'll do a procedure turn. We'll be doing a teardrop approach here. So we'll be heading, we'll be tracking 029er here, and then when we reach Ronald, that's 17 miles away, we'll turn left 30 degrees. So that will be what? 029 minus 30 is 359. So 359 degrees for 1 minute, and then we'll turn right, and then we'll intercept the 209 radial or course towards the VOR. Alright, so 209, and then we'll descend to 1,600, and then from 6.7 we will continue descending until the MDA, the minimum descent altitude of 520 feet. And if we see the airport, the runway before then we can continue with our approach. If not, then we do a missed approach. If we get to 3.3 DME and we still don't have visual of the runway. Okay, but yes, it's a bit more manual, but it should be a pretty clear day. We do have some clouds, but I don't expect we will have trouble spotting the runway. Anyway, missed approach procedure just in case. Climb straight ahead to Bangkok VOR until 2 DME. Outbound. Okay, so we will go past the VOR, and then when we're 2 miles away from it, we will turn right, continue climb outbound on radial 250 Bangkok VOR. Okay, so we'll follow the 250 radial. That's the line emanating from the VOR 250 degrees outbound, like that, until we get to 15 DME, and then we'll hold there, or if ATC gives us a different instruction. Right? Sounds good?
Aero India Charlie Lima, contact on moving approach on 133.0. Enjoy your afternoon.
133.0.
Approach on 133.0 Aero India Charlie Lima.
Nice. Oh, look at that. Are those fields? Pretty interesting looking.
Approach Aero India Charlie Lima at 5,100 feet.
See those pop-ins, guys?
Good afternoon. Radar contact.
Yeah. Pop-ins are also present on the satellite images, looks like. Sometimes. But we can live with it, right? We can live with it. Alright, so we should be pretty close, 32 miles away. And there should be a river, a huge river, the Chao Phraya River. It's a very famous one. Let me show you a little Navmap here. Come on, little Navmap. There it is. So we should be somewhere here, right before the land. And we'll be going straight past Chao Phraya River, this one, this entire thing. Right? What body of water is this anyway? Gulf of Thailand. Okay, so from the Gulf, Chao Phraya River, it's going to snake through the city, and where we will be looking for is to our left, where we should see Wat Pho, the temple that I showed you a while ago, right beside the river. So when we get to the river, yeah, you know what, let's ratchet away. I still remember that from the MRT stations. That's how they pronounce it. Okay, alright, so here, when we are 11 miles, well, I don't really need this DME because we'll just say if we have visual of the river, right? Once we are right on top of the river, look to our left, and the Wat Pho temple should be right there, greeting us. That's the idea. Alright, we'll see how that works. Okay, in the meantime, enjoying the countryside still. Haven't reached the heart of Bangkok yet. We're still on the outskirts. But my goodness, this is some pretty nice scenery, huh? Looks almost like these guys are 3D. Not like the flat fields. Very interesting. Look. Does anyone know what that is? Also, it's pretty narrow, huh? Not your typical large fields. Cool. There's Chao Phraya River, guys. So that's the Gulf of Thailand that we saw on the map, and that opens up into the river that snakes around the city. That's the Chao Phraya River. So the temple should be somewhere there, I guess. We'll see. And we can also see that the city is starting to get more and more dense compared with all the fields in the outskirts. Yeah, we are entering some urban cities here now, some urban areas. This might be Bangkok itself already, some parts of it at least. Pretty cool stuff. Right, and look at that view, right? Yeah. If you look close enough, you'll notice some pop-ins whenever I look around. The building's getting drawn, but it should be barely visible at this height, thankfully. So it doesn't really attract my attention as much, unless I specifically look for them. Looking very good. Oh, there it is. There's the river. Let's go outside and see if it snakes around even more. Okay, yeah. So you can see from the Gulf, it snakes around, all the way around, and then eventually we will be intersecting it. You see it there, right in front of us? And then the temple should be right around here. Unfortunately, I'm not sure if you'll see it.
Right with the BKK transition at Danmo International.
Yeah, exactly.
Expect the VOR approach to runway 21
VOR
right
approach
with the BKK transition
with the Bangkok
Aero
transition.
India Charlie Lima.
Exactly as we briefed. All good. Yeah, now you can start feeling the stutters. Even without an FPS counter, if I start looking around, you can feel the FPS dropping as you look around, and my CPU temps and utilization is spiking. Not that bad though, still looks great. It's just if you look here, then it's going to be 58, right? And if I start looking left, also still not bad. Still not bad. Goes to around 40 plus, but that was the fixed, that was my FPS before this update, around 40 plus. Now I'm locked at 60 most of the time unless I look around. So not bad at all. I'm getting used to the downsides of this update and getting used to the benefits as well. So I'm starting to accept the new reality. First there was denial, then anger, then eventually acceptance and joy. Alright, let's see. A boost pump. It's 1 hour 30 minutes. We have to switch tanks. Oh, some downdrafts in here in the clouds. So make sure we keep our altitude. Left tank. Everything's sounding good, looking good. Alright, perfect. Ah, there it is. Okay, the river. So now where's Chao Phraya? Must be there? No, must maybe somewhere farther, huh? Dang it, maybe we won't see it here. If we don't see it today, then we will do a city tour, a separate episode where we just explore Bangkok, go around, and enjoy the view. 1 second. Okay, let me double check how we can spot it. 11.8. 1 second, huh? When we are 11 miles away, we should see it on our left side. Should be somewhere here actually. Oh, there it is. There it is, right? Yeah, those are the temples. Like the small spires that we saw. Yeah, that's the one. Pretty cool. At 5,000 feet we don't see it that clear, but that's the one. Yes, cool. We see it from this view. Yes, it is. Yes, we can. There it is. Oh, there you go. That actually blends pretty well with the scenery. Cool. Alright, I'm happy with that. What else can we see in the city? I think that's the only landmark in the sim that is custom made. There is a Bangkok scenery in Flight Sim 2, but as I mentioned, I'm trying to stay away from mods at the moment, from plugins, because of Sim Update 5. It is a very finicky subject at the moment. I tried to minimize it for now until we stabilize this. Look at how busy this is, guys. Look at how busy this has become, and look at those roads, spaghetti junctions for the win. Oh my goodness. Welcome to Bangkok, everybody. Welcome to Bangkok. You see the temple from here? Yeah, very small, but it's there. Very nice. Cool.
Arrow India Charlie Lima descend and maintain 3,000 feet. QNH
3,000 feet.
1007 at Donmo International.
1007.
Descend and maintain 3,000 feet. Arrow India Charlie Lima.
Pulling back on the
Arrow
throttle.
India Charlie Lima cleared for the 4 approach to runway 21 right with the BKK transition. Continue to BKK then clear to Rommel to join the approach.
Continue to BKK
Alright.
then clear to Rommel to join the approach. Arrow India Charlie Lima.
Right, we're cleared for the approach, so we're headed straight for the VOR. And we will be starting to slow down here. We're starting to slow down, 7 miles away from the VOR in IMC right now. Basically means we don't have any visuals outside. Instrument meteorological conditions instead of VMC, which is visual. Or is it? Yeah, I think so. If I remember correctly. There it is. Oh, look at that view. Such a beautiful sight. Oh, let's not descend too much. You guys have been scolding me about that. Care for the passengers. Keep the descent rate around 800 feet per minute maximum, so that it's not too jarring for the passengers. So let's try and follow that. Descending to 3,000 feet per minute. Descend and maintain 3,000 feet. Okay. So what I'll do now is I'll actually go to heading mode here. Heading mode. Because I will be changing the course of the VOR of the HSI here. remember that 029er in the approach that we were mentioning, so I have to set that up. So let me move this here. It's going to be a very minor adjustment. That's 030, that's 029er, I think. Let's see, from this one, that's 030, that's 029er. Okay, perfect. So that is the course that we will be following after we cross the VOR. Continue with that descent. Still IMC, that's okay. That's what instrument approaches are for. So we're just proving that it was a wise choice. There's the airport, guys. There's the airport right in front of us. How beautiful does that look? There it is in full view. Oh, that's amazing. Now I don't see any tower. It might be one of the draw distances downgrades that we've gotten. I've noticed some of the objects render quite late. But maybe this is just, this has no tower in the first place. No, that's impossible. Anyway, we'll see that more later. Okay, we'll focus on that later. For now, let's enjoy the view. There it is. And what is that? A full-blown highway right there. A raced highway. Beautiful. Sorry guys. Full of sightseeing.
Descend via the BKK transition to 1,600 feet.
Descend to 1,600 feet via the BKK transition.
There is the VOR. Once it crosses in the middle, I will set it back to, there it is, Omni, so that it can follow that course. Perfect. So right above the airport now should be, there it is. Look for the tower, guys. Where's the tower? I still don't see it. Okay, that's fine. I do see some planes below though, and I'm liking that view. Good. Alright, so continue descent to... I'm not going to follow the ATC so much because I think sometimes they're confused with the approach. I'm going to follow the chart, which is saying we descend to 3,000 feet.
1007 at Don Moon International Contact Tower on 1.8.1. Have a good afternoon.
QNH is 1007 tower on 118.1 Aero India Charlie Lima.
Man, that looks amazing, doesn't it? Gets quite stuttery if I move my head too much. We have some markers in there.
Aero India Charlie Lima, good afternoon. Radar contact. Continue forward to runway 21 right, call when established on final.
Continue forward to runway 21 right, will call when established on final. Aero India Charlie Lima.
Alright, we'll call when established on final. Not yet, we have to do the procedures turn first. Remember, we have to do a teardrop approach. So right now I'm on a 029er radial from the VOR. Means I'm heading 29 degrees outbound from the VOR. That's why the counter is getting bigger and bigger. Right? There's 3,000 feet. And when we get to 17 DME, I'll start my teardrop approach. Okay, 17 miles coming up. Let's get ready. We'll be going to 029er, 359er, right? So that's 360, that's 359. Should be close enough. Go to heading mode. Alright. Stay at 3,000 feet for now. And we'll have to start the timer again here because we need to stay here at this heading for 1 minute. So let me reset that. Start. Alright, 1 minute here. And then, while that's working, let me set up the course towards the airport, which is 209, the reciprocal of this one. So 209er. So that should be right there. Or less. Let's make sure that's correct. So that's 210 over here. It's easier to see the actual ones here. 210, that's 209. There we go. Perfect. Okay. 32 seconds already. At 1 minute, we will start turning to the right and we will intercept that course. And then, the fun begins. Okay, but so far so good. Let me have a look at our tanks here. Left tank is well, they're almost even, right? They're almost even, so no need to switch. It's okay. Alright, 1 minute coming up. Alright, so let's go ahead and turn to the right. That's looking pretty good. Pulling up on the yoke here to maintain, to keep that 3,000 feet. Good. Alright, looking good. Let's hope that was enough time. Stop the timer, we're good. So around 2 hours more or less for the travel. Well, not really, around 1 hour 40 minutes, 1 hour 50 maybe. 3,000 feet, that's looking good. Okay, and let's follow the VOR from this point. Good. And from there, I can align the heading to the course. Looking good there. We went past it a bit, that's okay. We should be able to go back to it easily enough. And then at 17 DME at Ronal, then we'll start our descent to 1,600 feet. Oh, not before, not before. Good. Airspeed is good. Alright. That's looking pretty fine. Nice. Okay, getting to 17 DME again, this time towards the airport. That's looking good. 17 DME, alright, let's start descending, pulling back on the throttle, descending to 1,600 feet. And I guess we could say we are established. So let's go ahead and report that, and they will clear us to land. If I can find it. There it is. Joanna?
Aero India Charlie Lima established on final for more approach to runway 21 right.
I guess we'll not be cleared to land yet. We'll have to wait a bit. It's okay. Airspeed is good. Slowing it down so that I can extend landing gear properly. Automatic gear extension, let's turn that off. So I'll pull this knob. That will make that orange thing light up again. That's okay, that's what we do during takeoffs and landings. We turn off that automatic feature. Okay, that's okay. Everything else can stay as is. Well, DME, we can start our descent fully until the minimum descent altitude of 520 feet. Okay, I don't have visual of the runway yet, but that's fine, we're still far away from it. Let's start lowering our landing gear here. So let's do our gumps check. Gas, that's okay. Left tank undercarriage, we have 3 greens. Mixture, full forward, or low enough that we can handle that. Propeller RPM, full forward as well. Switches, turn on the landing lights and the fuel boost pump. Good. Oh my goodness, weather is not looking pretty good though. Weather actually just turned on us. Alright, so let's see. 3.3 DME. Okay, we're still far away. No problem, no problem. Actually, I think I read this wrong. Yikes, yeah, I read this wrong. We should actually start our descent at 6.7 DME. Oh, this is my bad. Okay, let's correct this. We don't have any flaps yet, so we can climb up easily enough here, even with the landing gear down. Let's climb up back to 1,600. because we should only start descending as of 6.7 DME, and we should be descending at around 600 feet per minute, more or less, for a 3-degree descent. Look at this one. So it says here we have a guide, a 3.20 actually, 3.20 degrees descent angle is what we need from 6.7 DME all the way to the airport, and depending on your ground speed, that's the appropriate, the corresponding vertical speed. So we should be around the 110 to 120 range, so we should be around 600 feet per minute descent, more or less. That should be fine. That should be fine. Right, getting back up to 1600. Alright, there we go. Balance it out. Alright, 6.8, 6.7, there we go. Alright, let's start our descent. 600 feet per minute, and I have visual of the runway. There we are, perfect. We still have not been cleared for landing though, so that is a bit bothersome. Let's try and report that again.
Aero India Charlie Lima established on final for more approach to runway 21 right.
Looking good. Let's go ahead and deploy first notch of flaps. We are at the safe extension speed anyway. Right, that looks great. We'll try to speed it up here because there might be some airliners landing here. This is an international airport, if I remember correctly. But yes, definitely some airliners are using this as their destination. So we'll keep it at 100 knots until we get closer. And at 100 knots, we should be descending at 566 feet per minute. Looking good there. Oh, look at that pop-in, guys. Look at those buildings getting drawn as we get near. That's why people are complaining, because that breaks immersion. Definitely not something you'll stop playing the sim for, but definitely will affect your experience. Alright, looking good. Let's turn off the autopilot here because view our approach.
Charlie Lima winds are 282 at 11 knots.
Okay,
Clear
there
to
we go.
land
Clear to
runway
land.
21 right.
Clear to land runway 21 right, Aero India Charlie Lima.
Good. Ah, look at that. The clouds just kind of parted for us to make our landing. And even though we're crabbing to the right here because the winds are coming from the west, I think. Yes. So coming from the right, that makes sense. Slow it down. Last minute. And let's go ahead and lose that extra energy. Pulling back on the throttle and trimming up. Yeah, the trimming up, especially during this case, is something I really like with the update. So easy to trim now in terms of the range of trimming. One press gets you really far. I like it. Looks good. Beautiful. Very clean looking airport, isn't it? 75 knots, okay, that's perfect. Alright, there we go. And round it out. And pull back on the throttle fully.
Aero India Charlie
There we
Lima
are.
exit runway when able.
Little bit of aileron deflection to the right. Come on, leave the runway. Other airliners are going to use this. Are we okay to exit from there? Looks like a bit of a sharp turn, but I think we can manage that. We are a pretty small aircraft. And we should be able to manage that sharp turn right there. Good. That looks great, alright. I can see the A320s up there. Getting ready to depart as well. Good. Now where do we settle this aircraft down? I have no idea. Let's just stop there. And with that trick coming from the top. Yep. the secret spot for opening the window. Looking good. Alright. Flaps going down. Landing lights turning off. Strobes off. Turn off the... Oh, you've been told to report, right?
Clear of active Aero
There you go.
India Charlie Lima.
Aero India Charlie Lima, welcome to Don Muang International Contact Ground on 121.9er. Enjoy your afternoon.
Ground
That's
on
a bit robotic, though.
121.9er Aero
Isn't
India
that?
Charlie Lima.
That voice, I think I'll be replacing it. That's the tower. Arriving tower voice. I think I'll change it later on if I remember. Looking good. Alright, there's a fuel truck on the way. Yeah, let's stop here and let's just let us tow us wherever we need to go. But okay, sorry guys for keeping you long. Hope you enjoyed the video nonetheless. Yeah, I'll take care of cleaning this up. I'll just let you hear the beauty of the sound of the engines cutting off in here. Just turning off all the avionics. Okay, looking good. Alright, here we go. Just for you. There it is. There it is. Okay, looks good guys. Turn off the magnetos. And we are good to go. You know what? I can actually finish everything because we're almost there. Might as well take you the rest of the way through. And turn it off. Awesome. So, awesome guys. Thanks for watching. Let me know what you think about Sim Update 5. Did you notice any difference with the previous episodes? I'll be waiting. Thanks for watching. Have a nice day. Clumsy flying. And bye-bye.